Good morning, Pulsicans. Welcome to the Green Day and Pulse Chain land. Are you guys excited that the charts have been green ever since these last couple of days? We've seen some great formation forming on all the charts. I feel like, or I pretty much kind of confirmed for myself and my money that the Pulse X and Inc. chart bottomed last week when I was thinking everything bottomed. At least I was half right. I might not have been all the way right, but hey, if you could get it somewhere within 20%, you're good to go. And I'm going to show you guys some proof today that I feel like confirms us bottoming. So, welcome to the show. This is where we are bringing the entrepreneurial world and the cryptocurrency investing world together, mainly the real estate entrepreneur world, where we're using cryptocurrencies as that wealth creation tool, and we're using real estate as a wealth preservation tool. We're super excited to be on this ride with you guys, where we're going to change the trajectory of not only our lives, but our family lives too, and all our friends who want to come along for this journey. And it's super exciting times right now. Everything's kind of getting warmed up, although I do anticipate a lot more sideways action here in the next, I don't know, month, two, leading all the way up into October. That's my prediction. I could be totally wrong. We could pump hard before. We could take another dump, just because I think, for my money and for my speculation, this is never financial advice. Go buy stocks and bonds, or go buy anything, right? For my money, though, cryptocurrency is where the opportunity is at. There is nothing that comes even close to this opportunity, the highest appreciating asset class known to mankind. And I am excited to be on the journey with you guys who believe in the same ecosystem that I believe in. So, guys, I dropped the StreamYard in the chat. Come on stream. Let's talk everything about Pulse Chain, talk everything about crypto, talk everything about money, real estate. We could talk about the stupid debate that happened last night. It was an absolute slaughterhouse, in my opinion, but like, that's another story. So come on stream and let's rap about what you're thinking about, what you got going on today. This is your show. I'm coming on a little bit early today because I have a hard stop at 1 o'clock my time. So I wanted to come on a little bit early to make sure if we get a good show, if we get a lot of people coming on, we have plenty of time to rap about the things that we love and enjoy. So while we're waiting for people to come on, let me show you the secret. This is the secret Pulse Chain chart that almost nobody talks about except Mr. Hans. I love Hans. Hans will bring up this chart and show it. I think Axis has too, but it's very rare we see this being posted on Twitter. I would say it's never ever posted on Twitter when people are trying to FUD, or when people are trying to, say the bottoms and whatever it is, whenever they're trying to reference the Pulse Chain chart, they never pull up this chart. We pulled it up a couple times on the show. I really love this chart because it really shows us what Pulse Chain is doing versus other blue chips. And so you guys already know what chart I'm going to pull up now. But first, let's welcome to the stage Mr. Norbert, and I'll pull up this chart here in a second. What's going on, Norbert? How you doing,
Hey, man?
man? Can't leave you in the
Thank
waiting
you.
room while we're
One of my favorite day of the week.
Oh, it's Friday, man. It's the end of the week. We've had a great
Because
week
of you and
ourselves.
Dane. Because of you and Dane. You make
Oh,
it
that's
special.
awesome, man. Well, we appreciate that, man. We appreciate your service. We appreciate you coming on this show and rapping with us about some of our favorite topics, right? And Dane won't be joining us today, so it'll just be me. But it's easy, man. When you do the open mic show, if I can get a bunch of you guys on, you guys don't even need me.
No, of course it is.
That's the great part. What's your thoughts, man? What's your thoughts of what's going on in crypto, Pulse Chain? You can even talk about a little bit if you want the stupid debate last night. It was absolutely retarded.
Did you see when they ask Trump about border control and things like that, and then he said, they asked Biden about the border control, and then he said, like, yeah, you know, like we're gonna make sure that it's gonna be even stricter, and we're gonna completely eliminate. And then the second, and he was saying like started saying the numbers, and then after that, sorry, and then after that, he was mumbling or trying to make a sentence which didn't make much sense. And then they asked Trump like, "So what do you have to say about?" He said, "I don't even know." He knew what he was saying. I don't even know what he was saying.
I can't
I
even
don't
do
even.
that. There you go.
I don't think
Face.
even.
The whole time, dude. That was the face. And then like Trump was just like, and look, I don't want to get political on the show. Like it's not what
No,
we
I
usually
mean
talk about.
neither. It's just it was so. It's
It
like
was just, it was so funny and comical that, man, what is the Democrats thinking? Letting him be the one who is going to be, competing against Trump. I don't know, man. It's wild. I thought that was a setup to get rid of Biden. But Biden made an announcement today saying no, he has no intention of dropping out, and that he is going to complete the race. I'm like, oh my god. Okay, you do you, bro. You do you,
yeah.
and we will see what happens at the end of this movie. Of course, there could be so much stuff that could happen. I mean, I don't believe what happened last time in the votes and everything was accurate, but that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, that's another.
That's another thing. And if I were to give my real opinion, I would probably get banned and shut down off of YouTube because they wouldn't like my real opinion about this kind of stuff. So
No, we don't.
you guys can put the pieces together from there. What my thought process is on this. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, man, right? And I favor political, laws being made and the what's going on in our economy. I favor what incentivizes us entrepreneurs and have for a very long time, and also what incentivizes us now that I'm a cryptocurrency investor. What incentivizes this ecosystem, not just Pulse Chain as a whole, but like all of it, man. I want all of it to thrive, right, and survive. Of course, I want Pulse Chain to thrive and survive, and we will. If the other stuff does, if the blue chips do, if Bitcoin does, if Ethereum does, and other layer ones do well, we will do well by default, in my opinion. That's my opinion, though, never financial advice. In fact, Norbert, that brings me to my point of the show. I want to show this chart. Not a lot of people talk about it, especially on Twitter. I see like some of the TA guys like Hans or Access Alive. Those guys will bring up this chart. And man, every time I have to bring the chart up, we got somebody who pops in. So I can't leave them in the green room. What's up, Mitch?
What's going on, man?
Man, you got a hat on like it's over 100 degrees where you're located. And they like to say it's a dry heat. I like to say so is a conventional oven. That's also dry heat, right?
So I'm going to tell you what, Corey, out here the last week and a half has been so humid, bro. It was like 106 and the humidity it's been high lately. I mean, you lived out here, so.
A lot of monsoon rain?
No, we've had a couple little ones out there by Superstition Mountain, but nothing that does no reason we should have this much humidity. How about that? It's been brutal out.
Just come to Puerto Rico, man. We got all the humidity you could ever want here. And we don't go higher usually than 90 degrees. Every once in a while we'll poke up to like 95. That's about the extent of it. But like today is 88 degrees all day. Of course, there's some humidity in the air, and that's fine. But man, I'm loving the weather. And usually we get some afternoon rains that really kind of even cools it down more. But man, I couldn't ask for a better place to be at right now because I'm from Arizona, and no bueno for me, man. I'm not about it. But let me show this chart before we dive deep. I want to get both of you guys' opinions on this. Of course, I want to know why people don't talk about this chart. What's the reasoning why people love to compare Pulse to the DAI chart, Pulse to USDC? I feel like we never see this chart unless it's a very professional trader like Hans or even Axis. But let me share my screen on this. And this is a very telling story for me where we're at. All right, share screen. All right. Look at this, man. This is Pulse versus Ethereum. Why do I feel like this is so important? Well, Ethereum is a blue chip. it has more, I would say, significance than the dollar. The dollar, it's highly getting inflated. We don't know what's going on happen with the dollar in the future, but we kind of have an idea what's happening with Ethereum and Bitcoin, especially with Ethereum right now with the ETFs just getting approved. And we know that you can kind of front run Wall Street right now by buying Ethereum or even Pulse Chain, because Pulse Chain's leverage on that. But that's why I feel like this chart is the significance is more than the DAI chart. And you can see here, man, and obviously this can change. Of course, this can change. Like a whale could come in and smack it down any day of the week. But man, this is showing me, at least if we hold and break out above this level here. So where I have my cursor, if we break out above that level, which we're getting up there, well, then it could be moon time. That is a bottoming structure. And let's zoom out a little bit. We can see that we were getting absolutely wrecked for quite a while against ETH since the launch day. Let me reset the chart here. Let me see if that brings it. There we go. Kind of, I don't know why it won't bring all the way up. I probably have to enlarge my screen, but you can see we tried bottoming. We tried Wing out before right here, and it went. It did win. It screamed up, but it did not continue. It didn't have a continuation. So, and then we got wrecked. Look at this, man. Look at these candles all the way down against Ethereum. And then we have a nice bottoming structure down here against ETH. Will it hold? I don't know. I hope so. But there's, like I said, there's other strengths in the ecosystem, like PulseX is showing it's bottomed. Ink is showing it's bottomed. Hex is still looking questionable. I'm hoping Hex can pull it out. I think it might be one of the last ones that does it, and that's fine. But man, if we can bottom against ETH, imagine this, man. The ETH ETF, the liquidity coming in from Wall Street or from TradFi starts July 2nd. What if we start, and this is speculation, right? That liquidity starts coming in and ETH starts pumping. ETH goes and does, plus 50%, plus 80%. Maybe we do a 1x, 2x, 3x. It'd be crazy to see. And of course, I'm talking over the next few months, obviously going into the bull run. I think ETH, this is my opinion. Once again, guys, never financial advice. Go buy stocks and bonds. But I think ETH can do a 5 to 10x, which is freaking massive when you're talking about blue chips. I think ETH can easily hit like a $15,000 to a $30,000 zone. Obviously 30,000 would be a super, super bullish. I think 15,000 is conservative. Now, I could be wrong about all this. But if we do that and we're bottoming against ETH now, man, that's super bullish news. Look at this. We got a higher low on the chart. It's not much higher low. This is on the daily, guys. So the daily is good. Even when I go on the weekly, let's go on the weekly and look at it. You can see here, it's trying to form structure down there with a bit of a higher low on the candles. Now, they're just candles. You need to actually have some more formation on this on the weekly. But the weekly, man, that's really strong. And the daily, to me, that's strong, man. You don't see this price chart a lot of. It's definitely you don't see it on Twitter. You never see this on Twitter. Like I said, the only one who might be sharing it on his streams is obviously Hans. I think Axis talks about it once in a while, but it's very rare. And I think this is what we really need to be watching, because this is what we got leverage on, guys. This is where we know there's two entities. Now, I'm not saying I don't know what they're going to do with their money. Who knows? But these two entities like the assets that we like. And those two entities own over 310,000 Ethereum. It blows my brain. If you count those two entities, they're one of probably the top 3 Ethereum holders in all of ETH land, right? And so, this is very, very important, because we know these guys like to buy the stuff that we like. And so if we see some kind of bottoming structure here on ETH, man, that makes me more bullish than bottoming against DAI or the USD chart, the dollar chart. It makes me way more bullish on this asset if it's bottoming against ETH. This is a stronger price chart, in my opinion. Now, obviously, if we go to against the dollar, if you guys want to look at it, that's fine. I understand. We look like we're trying to do something here, but it's not. Right now it's a lower low, and so we have to form some kind of structure if we're going to compare this against the dollar. But for me, man, I don't need it. I got it against ETH, man. And being that PulseX has already done it, I'm good, man. Let me see if the PulseX chart will pull. There we go. Like I am good here on PulseX. This looks like it hit the exact same level and we're Wing out. Let's look at Ink. Let's look at Ink. And Ink, same story. Although that's a higher low from, if I count it from the very low over here. And it's looking pretty strong as far as creating structure. I don't know if I want to look at Hex. Hex is oh yeah, it's the same kind of story as Pulse, really, except for it might be even a lower low than what Pulse is showing against the dollar chart. But one could argue you could go and compare this against ETH. I don't know how that would look. I don't have that chart built, but I love the fact that we are showing strong strength against ETH. Let's look at EHEX for fun, man. EHEX has been just an absolute. Oh my God, look at EHEX, guys. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you guys, this could be the easiest. Well, 7x from here. I don't know what it'd be from here in these levels. It was like a 7x from the bottom here to get up to the Bank X liquidity level. I know I got a lot of friends that absolutely hate this asset. Whatever. But if you're making this part of your meme coin bag, part of your 10% lottery bag, I think it's a great play, man. I mean, I would use this asset to go acquire more PHEX. So you could use this asset to acquire more T shares on the Pulse chain side if that's what you really wanted. I mean, look at this thing ripping, guys. Look at it ripping. And it's because it does not have much liquidity and it does not have the market cap that's the other blue chips have. So it could absolutely do some crazy numbers, at least in the short term. In the long term, who knows? Man, I do not know what's going to happen in the long term. Richard Hart could come out and FUD it again for all we know. And if he FUD it again, you know, you'd have your paper hands and lettuce hands sailing it back down. But this is super cool stuff I'm seeing on the charts, guys. I love this. It is making me super excited for the area that we are in, in this crypto cycle. I feel like if you line it up where we're at in the cycle, it's perfect, man. It's perfectly where Bitcoin was getting sold off, even Ethereum. And it's funny that Ethereum was going down, even knowing that the Wall Street was coming in. I was telling people, man, you want a free 5 to 10x, just go buy that. And I had one guy, he's like, well, wouldn't that be priced in? I'm like, not in crypto. Maybe in stocks it could have been priced in, but the crypto, we don't do that here. Like it's just like we're such an immature asset class. We just see the stuff happen as it happens. So it's man, this is great stuff. What is your thoughts, Norbert, on that? We lost Mitch while I was gone, but what is your thoughts on this? And guys, come on stream. I see a lot of you guys in the chats. I know some of you guys are at work. It's hard for you to get on here, but I dropped the stream in the chat, and I'm going to do it again real quick. But yeah, what's your thoughts, Norbert?
I learned one thing in trading. Chart doesn't matter. Does not matter at all, man. Trust me. It does matter only at that moment. You hear me out. You will understand what I'm trying to say. It only matters in that particular moment when you want to get in and out. That's the only time when the chart matters.
I love that.
Because what moving the chart? Fundamentals. Trust me, the big institutions or people who's got a lot of money, private investors, hedge fund managers or whatever, trust me, they don't look at order blocks and fair value gaps and things like that, because an order block can push through like it has never even been there, you know, like, and then
I've seen it.
like, oh yeah, oh just put your there and then put the stop loss there. Yeah. For example, silver today, I was trying to catch silver, and it's quite volatile. So I'm like, okay, just calm down, because I lost like $5,000 the other day. And,
oh boy.
Yeah, my stupidity, man. I was so stupid. And but I was watching it, and it just like really volatile. So chart doesn't matter. I couldn't care less where we are and what we do. But one thing is important when you were trying to compare these things, and it's good. It would be interesting to see EHEX against Ethereum, and I tell you why. If you look at it like USD terms, if you compare any crypto token to USD, that means that you're looking at a newcomers, a new investors who are trying to bring in economical energy into the system. If you compare PLS to PHEX or Ink to whatever, that means that is a player already valuing that actual asset who is already in the club, and then dancing and whatever, doing its thing.
Mhm.
So that's what my other thoughts. And to be honest with you, just look around the world, man. I mean, you are one of the few that, let's say, 5% on Earth, in my opinion, who's been working hard before, making good decisions. Keep grinding, focusing on family, having a strong goal. That's why you are where you are today. People who just comfortable and taking it easy, they're not truly in a good position, let alone to
I
spend another $5,000-$10,000 investments
I
on
agree.
some crypto assets. You know what I mean? Those
I
guys, they
agree.
they value things like, okay, let's go out, let's spend $100 on a couple of drinks, and then if I have to do 2-3 rounds, that it builds up really quickly, the $200-$500. You spend $1,000 over a week on the weekend.
I
You could
used to
do
do
that
that.
if you. I know. I was kind of similar, but
To
so
your point, man, I wanna stop you there. That's a great point.
yeah, yeah.
As entrepreneurs, we call that drifting. And if you want to read a book about drifting and how everyone's kind of like in a zombie state and not contributing to what the purpose or meaning is in life, read the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Absolutely game changer book that talks about the drifting mentality and how the whole world is surrounded around that mentality and how that basically is, I don't want to get religious on here or anything, but how it's more of the devil's work. And that's what he wants the world to do instead of adding value to the world and being an entrepreneur and creating business and helping humanity out the best you possibly can. That's the purpose of life, is always grow in life and help our fellow man or woman or kids, whatever it may be, right? So yeah, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, man. If you guys have not read that book, and if you're thinking about exploring the entrepreneurial world, or even talking about what Norbert was talking about there, just like the guy who's like going to the bar every weekend and watching the sports game, drinking and talking about the last time they got laid, right? Because they're still single, and like that's, or talking about like, what's happening at work and the drama there. They don't have any life outside of that. They're never trying to figure out how to grow as a person and how to start business and increase their health, mental framework, their spirituality, and finances. Those are my 4 pillars I live my life by. And so it's just such a great book to kind of condition yourself and get you ready for that journey. And so, yeah, I just wanted to stop you right there because that really resonates with me. And I like to point people towards that book. I see Bright Light has read the book. That's awesome. D Nice, I read it. I read that book because of you, sir. Yeah, man, that's awesome that you read that book. It's one of my most favorite books I've ever read. And I've read it like 5 times because every time you go through it, there's something new. And I'll give you a little hack. If you read it with the Audible, the devil has a voice, and it's almost like watching a movie. It's that good because the way the voices go back and forth and you're hearing the devil's voice, it is so good. You'll blow through the book because it becomes entertaining. And yeah, so there's my little entrepreneur rant for the day.
Nice
But
one, man. Nice one.
yeah, I had a question, and I'll ask this to you, Norbert. Somebody asked it in our community, and I said, hey, I'll address it on our show today. And I'll give my answer, of course, right? And I know we talk about it all the time. But where is the risk you put into this ecosystem, and how do you assess the risk in this ecosystem with this SEC news hanging around Richard Hart and these assets? And do you allocate less risk to the Inc. token because it's not put in the SEC lawsuit? What is your thoughts on that question? And I'll kind of answer it too, but I would love what your mental framework around that is.
Well, we all of these tokens are connected, and if you really want to go really deep, like kind of on a spiritual kind of way, Hex is the main center, and everything is built around it. It's like like God, and it's like angels, So if we don't succeed, that doesn't matter, if it's Inc. token is related or not, then we're all gonna go down. The Titanic. It doesn't matter what's going on. But looking at the current situation, the way how things are, it's just it's so weak. This kind of it's almost like an argument that the way how
It's
the SEC is trying to
yeah.
to come against us.
They
yeah, but
lost another lawsuit yesterday, Norbert.
you see, is another example of showing how incompetent they are, and what they do is just completely opposite. Because if you telling me that you are focusing mainly on the investors' well-being and safety, where were
Shoot.
you when the FTX thing happened? Where were you when the curly guy was shaking hands behind closed doors with God knows who, and God knows what they talked about? Where were you at that time, man?
Oh
make it
man.
make it clear. It shouldn't be like rocket science. That's the problem with most of the things, that make it simple. Anyone who is like has half of his brain working and able to run a business and want to invest, make it easy to understand that person, that you can do this and I'm doing this because of that. And you know what I mean, clarification. And then it's just, yeah, it's one of those things which I can't comprehend right now on earth. Why is it going even your president, man? I mean, not yours, like
It's
you moved on from
corruption.
there.
That's how you
It's
comprehend it. It's corruption. So
it's really the leader of the United States should be the prime person out of all the citizens, someone who care about donations, charities, families, well-beings, like businesses. And did you know that from the United Kingdom 10,000 millionaires left? 10,000
wow.
millionaires left this country, man, recently. 10,000. Why do you think is that? Because most likely it's they raising the tax too much. Probably people are coming here who shouldn't even be here at the first place. And then when you're trying to come into this country legally with your passport in your hand, they even tell you to stand in front of like a scanning machine, which give you radiation and stuff like that, just to see if anything you're hiding in your anus or something. And then what about those guys, man? You're just letting them through, and then you don't even ask questions who they are, what they do, and whatnot. Anyway. But SEC, I mean, yeah, it's just weak, like extremely weak. The way how they trying to, and then show me, okay, fine. Then you trying to give me facts that, like, at least 30% of the investors, whoever is invested, is worse off. Like they got huge financial issues after this. They have mental breakdowns and what, like, bring me like some facts. Don't just say that, I think that guy did it because he wanted to take some money, and then if he wanted to walk away, he could have done it easily after the sacrifice was over, because he made it clear, look,
Easily. He could be
it's a
hiding in Dubai.
sacrifice. If you don't know what sacrifice is, if I was a lawyer, I would say to the SEC representatives, sacrifice. Yeah, exactly.
Sacrifice
Just
it all, man.
just
But we
say, just
did,
look at
baby.
the
We did.
SEC representatives like this. Oh, sorry guys, my colleague just brought here an Oxford dictionary. Hey John, would you mind just popping it up on the definition of sacrifice, and then just hand it over to the other side of this courtroom, please, and then let the gentleman read a little bit, and then while they doing that, Sir George or Mr. George or whatever, let me continue my speech. Like it's just nonsense. It's ridiculous. That's
Yep.
the best word to use.
I agree 100%. I'll add to it. I would say, as investors, our job is to spot opportunity. Okay. Now you can just go buy ETH, and yeah, there's an opportunity there in the marketplace because ETFs the inflows haven't started coming in yet, and you have kind of a chance to front run Wall Street. There's an opportunity, you can spot it, but you're not going to get like mad gains, 20, 50, 100,000 X's right out of buying ETH. It's just that part is gone. That opportunity has passed. You can still get a little bit of opportunity there. But when we talk about opportunity, we need to find, something in the marketplace that is not priced in, that is like basically other people don't know about it yet. And Pulse Chain is definitely that opportunity, because we see, and we even have lawyers inside of our community talk about how weak the case is and all the holes in it. They're trying to sue Hex and Pulse Chain as entities. Those are not entities. They are wrong about like how many node validators are on the chain, how much pulse it takes to node validate. Like all this like fine detail stuff is all incorrect. And you let it be incorrect. There's a saying, you let your enemy, you don't stop your enemy from making mistakes, right? And so like they made so many mistakes in the initial lawsuit that it's laughable. And then with all this case law coming out, where the SEC is losing case after case after case, even where you have like Ripple and XRP, like these guys dump on everyone's head every single day, and they're good, right? And like you see, like with Debtbox, they got forced to pay the investors like 1.8 million, which is not much. It's like a slap on the wrist, but still, the fact that the case law is there and all this case law is building up in the favor of Richard Heart. In fact, I feel like part of his strategy was to kind of like push this off as much as he can, so more and more case law could be put in place. And another example is Coinbase and their case law that they're gathering up, and they're even suing the SEC right now for harming the crypto industry. It's wild what we're seeing. And I feel like anybody who's anybody now has been targeted by SEC. And so it's depending on how the reactions are is very important. And we see our Richard Heart coming out with 11 attorneys of not just any attorneys, Elon Musk attorneys. So when you want to talk about inefficiencies in the marketplace and in pricing, boy, I think we are there with Pulse Chain more so than any other asset out there in the crypto world. I'm sure there's other ones that I just don't know about, but these are the ones that we know about. And the opportunity right now, if, like I said, I talk about it every day on the show, the 4 engines on the rocket ship that will take us to the moon. 1, ETH ETF getting approved and the inflows coming in. We're seeing that probably starting next month. 2, clarity in the Richard Heart case. I feel like he doesn't even have to win to send us to the moon. He could just pay the fine. They only want like, I think it's like $12 million. It's like a traffic ticket for him. We saw CZ get slapped with a $4 billion traffic ticket. He's paying the traffic ticket, and we're seeing Binance operate like normal. Like just because he loses doesn't mean that we don't go off and do our thing. I think investors just need clarity. That's it. That's all they need. And that would allow us to operate and go on like normal. So I think we're going to get that clarity in October. We're going to get that clarity. 3, Richard Heart streaming again. The community needs leadership. I feel like companies need leadership. Masterminds need leadership. I need leadership. And I'm an entrepreneur. I need leadership. I have coaches and mentors I look up to. It's no different in the crypto space. So, leadership is huge. It would be one engine. We don't maybe necessarily need it, but it's a rocket engine that would help us thrust to the moon. So 3 is the leadership and him streaming again, which I think would happen immediately after the clarity of the SEC case. And 4 is privacy on PulseX and the privacy pools. We would be the first EVM, the first Ethereum virtual machine to have privacy, guys. I don't think you guys realize how huge this is. One of the things that we have a problem in Pulse Chain, it's not just in Pulse Chain, it's in a lot of ecosystems, that people like to front run whales. They'll see whales bringing money over, or they see whales maybe exiting out of a liquidity position, and like they'll front run. They track the behaviors too. People will track a lot of their behaviors, and they'll front run that money, and then they'll sell after the whales buy in. Like whales are human. They're humans. They're people. They're like me and you. They don't want to be exit liquidity. like. Who wants to be exit liquidity, especially instantaneous exit liquidity? I get it. Like we could be exit liquidity over like, the market cycle or whatever, but nobody wants to like come in and buy and see the people sell the price down. A lot of people sell the price down right after you just bought. Nobody wants that. So like, if we had that, we're solving a problem in the crypto space. It's a product market fit that we'd be coming out with it's being created by necessity. From whales who like to buy our stuff. It's being created out of necessity, but it fits and solves a problem in all of crypto. And I think we'd see a lot more whales enter into our into our ecosystem if they knew they had privacy and they can come and play with all these toys. They could come and play with all these things that we love and enjoy over here in Pulse Chain and get part of this community, because now they know that their transactions are just not disclosed. And plus, among so much of other benefits that brings that, I won't talk about on the show. It's massive. It's product market fit. We'd be first to the table with something. I think it's massively bullish. And once again, we see that building happening right now. We know we see it behind the scenes, kind of like we're seeing the SEC stuff behind the scenes. What's happening? We're seeing the SEC unravel in front of our eyes. They just let go their top. I think it's like their top investigator who runs the digital assets division in the SEC. He was been with them for 10 years. He just resigned. Right? He just resigned. It was like a week ago. So we see this behind the scenes. Once again, we're spotting opportunity. This is our job as investors, is spotting opportunity and taking advantage of the opportunity. And I feel like where we're at in pricing right now, this is one of the biggest opportunities that we may have in our entire lives. And I might be saying that again next market cycle, right? Maybe every 4 years we see these kind of opportunities pop up. I don't know. Hex was once this opportunity too, because people saw the opportunity in Richard. I'll talk about that for a second too. Like, people are like, oh, his outrage marketing. I'll tell you what, I saw through the outrage marketing and I saw opportunity. I saw an entrepreneur. I saw a guy who had a very high IQ and who knew what he was doing, right? And I didn't let my ego get offended by his ego. Just because he's got an ego doesn't mean that there's not opportunity there. And I'm not going to let my ego get offended by his ego and me miss out on the opportunity. If I did that, I would have missed out on a lot of real estate deals and operators, because anytime I talk to a real estate syndicator and I'm thinking about investing into his deal, he better be arrogant and conceited, and the way he talks about his project, he better come with confidence in a way that, like, I feel like my money is going to be in the right place. Right. And I felt that way with RH. I'm sure a lot of people in the early Hex days felt that way with RH. Like, yeah, did he get a little bit more obscene with his outrage marketing? Sure. And was that part of his ego? Sure. But it's our jobs to see the opportunity in that. We have to see past it. And it's a lot of the people who don't like Richard Heart, it's because their ego gets offended by his ego. Ego is the biggest killer of opportunity. It's and everywhere in life, entrepreneurship and investing, ego is the biggest opportunity killer. So don't let your ego get offended or get in the way from capitalizing on opportunity. So there's my rant. There's my answer to that. And we got Mr. D Nice himself. This is number 2. We got you coming on show. What is up, bro, man? What's the good word out there?
Man, it's hot. How y'all doing today?
Hey, nice.
It seems to be the underlying thesis everywhere right now. It's hot because it is, man. We're in the midst of summer, man. It's I'm glad I'm in Puerto Rico.
I hope you guys aren't hiding anything in your anuses.
The only thing I would be hiding maybe is my Trezor hardware wall, and this would be a rough fit, man. That would be an uncomfortable fit. I don't know, like, if I want to try to get that up there, but if it was a necessity,
I think the ledger would suit you better.
The ledger would suit you better. I have multiple wallets. I have the other one too, the small version. This might be a better fit. So I don't know. Maybe they were thinking about
just write down the 12 C words and swallow it. Then one day it's gonna come back.
Hey, man,
yeah, exactly. So
you talk a lot about this being like just a movie. I'm not even worried about the SEC.
I'm not either.
I mean, dude, it was just a better opportunity for all of us.
Boom! You saw the opportunity, and you've probably been capitalizing on the opportunity, because I'll tell you what, D Nice, I don't think we would have had these prices if it weren't for this opportunity that happened. I mean, obviously the Wells got it in the sacrifice. They got it, and early Hex investors and those guys got it, right? I get that, but like, it gives us more newer folks who are here that same opportunity, bro.
Dude, and the sentiment would have been completely different. Imagine if Richard had bought the bottom. You think he meant to buy $3,500 ETH? I don't think he did. I think he just
Right.
couldn't move it. I think they told him not to move it.
I think it's the same too. I think it's the same too. He had some clarity from at least his lawyers, right? Like the lawyers, they
Right.
kind of guide everything. Like I've been in lawsuits, man, and they'll tell you exactly what to say and when to say it when you're talking to especially when you're talking to the person that's suing you. You got to be careful. And right now, anything he does really is he's communicating with the person that's suing him. So he's got to be really careful on that front. And so, like for me, it's not like a question. Yeah, man, I it's a blessing, man. It's such a blessing. I'm so happy for it. I'm even going to do a DCA Monday. I'm seeing we got some green candles today. I'm selfishly hoping that we don't continue pumping over the weekend, but if we do, I'm not going to feel bad either, right? Like I'm going to be happy for everybody and myself and my bags. But I would like to get one more DCA in, and I can do that on Monday. But I got a good one in last week. Man, I got that Pulse X at like 4.01819. I got ink at 2.3. And man, that was a good feeling when I saw everything start kind of pumping today. I was like, maybe I did catch that bottom. I don't know.
Dude, I mean, even 2X from here is good prices. Like it's
It's great.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think it's definitely been a great opportunity for me.
It's a great opportunity. That's what it is. And that's our job as investors. Like it's the same I don't care if you're investing in real estate, if you're investing in the stock market world, you have to spot opportunity where the market has not caught on or caught up to that opportunity. That's your job as an investor. And vice versa, you could say the opposite too. Like when you're buying the top, the market already priced it in. The market already knows. The market's already here. You're buying after everybody else. Like there's the opposite thesis too when you're analyzing things as an investor. And so it's your job as a responsible investor. So what up, Frank? Frank Conversations in the house. What is going on, my good man? How you doing today? What's your thought process?
I got in late. I haven't heard the whole stream. What's up, Corey? What's up, D Nice? What was the question? And I kind of know where this is going, but
did you or have you on how do you assess opportunity? How do you feel? How did you? So let's ask it this way. This is a good way to kind of think about it in a different framework. How did you take that SEC FUD, the suing of Orchard Heart, all that entire thing? Of course, we got this great opportunity, but obviously, if you analyze it as an opportunity, you have to be a forward thinker, and you have to kind of think these things through. Like, how did you assess that? And I know you've been DCAing. Like, how did you assess that and go, okay, I see this as an opportunity, not as like this is over and done with, and I'm going to DCA. Like, what? How did you think that through in your head?
I didn't. I just did it. I really
did. You muscle test it?
Yeah. No, that's the other thing I want to share is with muscle testing, you can't use it for gain. It's really only for like intending enlightenment kind of things. Does that make sense? Like
it does. It does.
Because we can get into that at another time too when we talk as well. But I didn't think about it. I just reacted, and I was buying as it was going down, and it felt terrible.
It did.
But
I agree.
I knew based on what not only our private mastermind was talking about, but what sentiment was with people buying on the dips and those kind of opportunities. I just didn't, like I said, I didn't think about it. I just did it. And it was one of the scariest things that I did. And I've been doing it ever since. And yesterday I was kind of feeling like when I looked at my portfolio, I was like, damn, this is really down. I was going to say, everybody's got to be similar, feeling the same way. Cause I thought the first, when it hit 4 zeros and 1 5, I thought we were off to the races, the last time. Now we're back down. And so, but no, you know what I did? I look back because I've been in crypto since 2018, late 2018. And I looked at Axie Infinity yesterday. I looked at Theta. I looked at Helium. I looked at Matic. And all those charts, when they started, were choppy. you know, from what I remember. And it really made me feel good because they were solid projects and they had their challenges getting, you know, doing their 100X or doing their
Right.
300X, whatever it was. And so that just, you know, I just looked, I researched, I looked back and you know, knowing 4 years ago where we were in this cycle, it just gave me like, okay, it's okay. We're okay. I'm okay. Everything's going to be fine. This is just what it's like when you're scraping the bottom, going up and down. And again, the swings in some of these coins were like, you know,
They're massive.
they are massive. They were 5x swings, 6x swings, 2x swings.
Like we just saw.
Yeah. So, you know, yeah. So it's all on par. You just have to be able to stomach it. And I'm in a coin called Hive Mapper Honey.
I've heard you talk about that one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a device you hook up to your car, and it's great for Uber drivers and people that are in their car a lot.
You mint the coins by driving around,
Yeah,
right?
you take photographs. I don't have a device. I learned from Helium that I wasn't going to do the devices. I was just going to buy the coin. So it's a similar thing. And that I got in at less than, I think it was 1.3 cents, did a 34X, something like that. I didn't take profits. It was just, for me, the timing was bad. And then now it's at a great price right now. But I looked back at the Helium chart, and the Helium chart and the Hive Mapper chart are very similar right now, where the first wave was really, really high, and then it dumped down into, you know.
I think that's called, like, there's a Elliott waves is a strategy of like TA. I don't know a lot about it, and I should research more about it. In fact, my ETHWell friend here in Puerto Rico, that's how he analyzes everything, is through Elliott waves and where we're at. He's been doing it on Ethereum obviously since day one, right? Because he's a day one Ethereum guy. And it's interesting. I need to learn how that works because we saw the first wave or whatever. And then, like, I think saw Donovan with DIY. He was pointing it out. The next wave should be like, I mean, the move's way more parabolic on the next wave, which could be either the buy the rumor, sell the news, going into the Richard Hart case, or maybe even Richard Hart case getting some clarity. Like that could be that could be the thing that thrust it up there. I don't know. I'm speculating now, but yeah, it's an interesting TA tactic. I need to learn more about it and how it works because it seems to hold true in a lot of charts. So it's interesting.
Yeah. So you know, look at just past performance from certain coins, and you know. Granted, in my opinion, they've got to be good projects. You know, which I think Pulsechain's a good project. So
it's a great project, especially if they come out privacy pools, bro. I am telling you, privacy pools. You better hold on to your shorts for that one because it allows whales to come in. That's what it does. It allows whales to come into our ecosystem. Right now, they don't want to come in. Like, there's a whole team of people that like to front run the money. I know some of those people. I know them personally, right? And like, because they're very good at chain analysis and watching the bridge and doing all that. And they know the habits of all these whales, and they know what's going to happen when they get over here. Like, it's a necessity. It has product market fit, and we're first. So, yeah, I'm super bullish. I don't know if I'm more bullish on that than SEC clarity or RH streaming. I don't know which one I'm more bullish on, but any of those are very good for our ecosystem, including just the ETF, which we know it's going July 2nd. July 2nd, we get the inflows that start. This is so cool. We might see a sell-off first. I don't know, on ETH. Then we see a sell-off. Maybe you guys can help me here. I was trying to answer this question the other day. Did we see a sell-off of Bitcoin right after the ETF inflow started coming in? Does anybody know?
Yeah, we did. I think
we
a
did?
lot of it moved out of Grayscale though because they were charging more.
That was it. Grayscale was selling the price down for a long time. I remember that. And then we started picking up.
Yep. It picked up massively.
Yeah, and I remember that lasted like I feel like it was like a month. I could be wrong. Everything blurs together in crypto.
assuming it's valued the same, ETH would run a lot harder. So
Yeah,
every
it
time
should.
ETH goes up, we go up. It's pretty
It
awesome.
should, right? Oh yeah, I agree 100% on that. But it will be interesting to see if we see a sell-off though, right when the inflows start coming in. If there's like some bigger entities that are waiting to use the inflows as exit liquidity, because that's what that was. That was, Grayscale using the ETH or the BTC inflows. Grayscale was using it as exit liquidity, and they pushed the price chart down. So we'll see, or maybe we don't. Maybe it will
What if this time is gonna be different? Because
It could, but
I can tell you a few reasons why it could be different. We talked about. Sorry, I lost connection because
you're good,
it
bro.
was bad
You're always
internet.
in and out. You're good.
So you remember what we were talking about earlier, that the market is missing, and even not just the market, the whole world. Why do you think that the bull market hasn't really kicked in yet? Why the retail is not here in the crypto space? Because there's
Cycles.
no it's no. It's not, I told you before, forget about these cycles and charts and whatnot. Emotions moving the people forward or backward. What the emotion right now, what the feeling of the individuals right now. Like I said, 10,000 millionaires left the United Kingdom. It doesn't show me strength or stability or clarity, because they're going somewhere else. It's not really, and UK was a pretty strong country before. Also, the other class, let's say the decent businessman class, they're not going to invest either, because there is an SEC case out. People don't see.
I agree with
it's
that.
easily
Yes,
manipulated.
that's why I say clarity is a big deal.
That money is not coming in either. And then also you have like we talked about one group of people, the partiers before, and then you have like a decent guys, who make comfortable living. Those guys don't invest either, because they have either rising living costs, so they have to reevaluate every single month what they're spending on money on, and probably crypto is going to be the last thing on the list that where they want to put their money right now.
most
There's always
risk.
something to upgrade, or change your car or fix something. Then, and if everything becomes more expensive, then you're gonna have less of that to invest in these things.
I heard last night though, Norbert, that the United States has 1,000 trillionaires. That's what I heard last night. I don't know if you heard that.
Well,
the debate
I'm
was
sorry, I
interesting.
gotta poke and make fun at that freaking debate, man. I hope it doesn't get my show banned.
But I'm sure. And
Hey, Norbert.
And he did. Yeah, tell me.
So here, I got a question for you.
Yes,
I
sir.
think we have a big enough sample size here. There's 100 people watching. How many people are watching roughly?
I got about 190 if I include Twitter. There's
people.
yeah.
I would say if you just took a poll and said of everybody watching, and said how many people are fearful in DCAing right now, and see what that is, I think you could measure the sentiment of what's going on in the market. And we know that when there's fear, it is a strengthening time to take action. And so I'm speculating here. I'm thinking this through. And usually when you're feeling euphoria, it's time to take action and sell, right? Or things are going to peak. So I would say that I would just look no further than the crypto community right now of what the sentiment is.
Although, Frank, if you ask the audience that question, I would say all of them or most would answer yes, they're fearful, but they're still DCAing.
Yes.
That's why they're watching.
Yes.
Right? They're still plugged in. They're still plugged in. They still believe. They're still part of the community. Where the guys who are fearful and not DCAing, or maybe even fudding, they're probably not. There might not be a few of them watching. There could be. But I would say it'd be the minority of the people who watch the show.
You get two birds with one stone. You get the person who knows what they're doing in crypto. They're still fearful, yet they're taking action now, buying. So, buying the bottom. And I'm not just saying for Pulse Chain. I'm saying for other coins, because there's
for all
coins
yeah.
that are in the dumpster right now that you could buy. And then, and if anybody who's been in crypto a long time, you look back at the charts and you go, man, if I would have bought then, just think of how much money I have now. So, these cycles, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just trying to measure sentiment. If it's down, the people that are in crypto that are I mean, I've been in this, in the bear market the whole time. You know that. Everybody, or you know that.
We all
Me too.
been.
We've been going through it together. So it's we just trained ourselves to take action and benefit from the low prices.
Yeah, I agree. But Paul Sachs, I would say there's a lot of people who will sell the bottom. I saw it when Titan X launched. A lot of people sold the bottom of the RH assets, and they went over and bought Titan X, and now they're down 99%. So it happens, man. It happens.
You take the escalator up. No, the stairs up.
The stairs up. Yeah, I always heard that from Randy. I heard that from Randy Olarski, man. What's the secret chart? Vanilla Hexagon, I'll show it one more time real quick. Being that most people don't talk about the secret chart. Hans does. I see Axis do it once in a while. Let me share. It ain't the hex chart, but this is a great chart too. I love this chart. It's the, let me go to my watch list. It's the pulse to ETH chart, and I'll show it to you. It's forming what it looks like a nice bottoming structure. Doesn't mean it can't change. It could change overnight. Well, it could smash it down. So don't like this. Oh, I need to put it on. I need to put on ETH, and there it is. So you can see right here. We're forming structure. There's a nice W. We're even getting a little pump today. Whether this holds or not, I don't know. We have to break above. If this is a Sergio question, or a Hans or Axis, I think we have to break above this level here to confirm. And if you look at the normal pulse chart, you don't see that. You see it against the dollar. It's a lower lows, it's doing stuff now, but you got lower lows. So I feel like the pulse versus ETH chart has a lot more validity than the pulse versus DAI chart, because Ethereum, in my opinion, is about to take off, and maybe it could have a dip before it does, like we talked about. We don't know, but it could take off. So that's the secret chart. I never see people on Twitter posting it, and it's been wrecked. Like, why not post that point to that when we're getting wrecked? I don't know. It's just that people don't think about it. I guess they think about always the dollar chart. It's always the dollar. Where, man, Ethereum. I value Ethereum way more than I value the dollar. I'll tell you that.
Hey, dude, sorry to interrupt. I got to bounce.
CD, nice, man. Appreciate you hopping on. Go make some DCA money, man.
See you there, man.
Appreciate it. All right.
All the best,
Yep.
be nice.
One quick thing that I wanted to just mention, just to complete something about the muscle testing.
Yes.
I sent you a map of consciousness. Can you
Yep.
can you pull that up and just show people, so that way they don't think that we're just pulling?
I might be able to if I still have it. I have it in your
Google
text.
map of consciousness, Dr. David Hawkins.
I think I'll have it right in your text, which I could send it right over. Where is? Oh, here we go. I think this is it here, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, this is it. So let me send it to, and then you'll explain it, Frank.
Yeah, I'll explain it. Yep.
So we can all understand.
Because I didn't want to leave people with a sense of,
Yeah, I'm very fascinated by it too. And come on, pull up my computer. There we go. And
I mean, he put the research into it. He did, so much study. I mean, it's back. He was the number one he had the number one psychological health practice in the United States in the 80s. So he's, was an accomplished, or is, even though he's dead, is a well-accomplished.
And you said it only works on the spiritual side of consciousness, and it doesn't work like, hey, am I buying opportunity here in Pulse Chain?
Yeah, you can't use it for gain. Hey, this is a good time to buy Pulse Chain.
Although I would argue financial freedom there is a piece of spirituality to that. Like there is a.
Oh yeah, it's called enlightened prosperity.
Yes, thank you. That's why. That's why I love you, man. You got all the. I don't know why I can't.
The wise guy.
Yeah, you can be a monk and live in a cave and still have millions of dollars. You don't have to go live somewhere and live just on bread and water and meditate all day, you can have it all, you know? So, yeah. So,
Okay.
Oh,
This
perfect.
is, can you guys see it okay? Can you guys see it?
I can see it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
let's do it.
Okay. So
So-
go ahead and break it down for us.
Yeah. Just so, let me just increase it a little bit. So you've got, basically anything above 200, like affirmation, trust, optimism, forgiveness, understanding, you know, those are integrous feelings, right? I can muscle test, you know, any number here, but I think what's important for everybody to understand is that you could just look at this chart and see whether or not you're in survival, whether you're in integrity. Like if you're feeling, you know, this is an interesting story. Yesterday, I was approached by two homeless people yesterday selling candy or something. And he was with his son. And I saw him and I said, no, thank you. And the little son was going, he was whining, crying, you know, that was his shtick to selling. And the father was like, you know, oh, come on, just buy something. It's $3. But I went into the dry cleaner and I came back out, and the kid wouldn't leave me alone. He was trying to shame me into buying something. And so was the father. And I said, hold on a second. I said, this doesn't work for me. You're shaming me into buy something. I'm in sales. I said, you're in sales. I said, I don't need to be shamed into buying something.
Yep.
And shame down here, look at where shame is. It calibrates at 20. So
It's way down there.
You can be in predictive. You can just simply look at the chart, experience a moment, look in the chart and see where it is. And my intention is to, like, I really delve in everything above 200. Hawkins says,
Yes.
you know, banish everything under 200, or, you know, don't. That's why going on Twitter is, you know, can be a challenge, you know, because you're into scorn, you're into hate, you know, anxiety. You know, what happens when you leave Twitter? Sometimes you're feeling anxious, you know. So, you know, look on the brighter side. Stay into above the line and kind of a below the line. Here's one other statistic is 85% of the population calibrates below 200, according to Hawkins. All right. And so the 15% that calibrate above offset the negativity of the 85%.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
It's powerful.
Yep. And so in enlightenment, love calibrates at 500. I think it's 0.04% of the population on the planet calibrate above 500. And 540, which is unconditional love, right here, serenity, complete, one, transfiguration, joy, is 0.004%. It's or something.
Another zero.
It's another zero, and it's there's fewer and fewer people reaching that level. So it's interesting. So all I can say is, you know, I do everything I can to make sure that I'm focusing on things that are above 200.
I love it.
And for everybody in listening or who's interested in this, just look at the scale, and you'll instantly get something out of doing that. Wow, man, I was just in anger and hate. What can I do to get to above 200? Well, I can trust somebody, you know, I can feel optimistic about something, I can forgive them, you know, I can reason with them, and you know what, I can love them. Like, just gradually work your way up the stream, just reading it as you go up. I mean, think about it though. Think about this. Even apathy is slightly higher than guilt, right? Grief is slightly higher than apathy. You know, Hawkins talked about some of his patients would come in, and one time, I'm trying to make sure I give you the right example. Where someone was in a catatonic state, he wouldn't speak, wouldn't do anything, but he was able to get him to the next level, and then all of a sudden the guy started talking. So he hadn't talked for years, and then all of a sudden he said something, or one time, Hawkins said that and this is, I remember when you got food poisoning a few weeks back, and you said you had mercury in you. He said that he had a patient who was he couldn't be cured. Nobody could figure out. He'd been to 25 specialists, etc. And he saw Hawkins, and in a split second, he said, "This guy's mad as a hatter." And he said, "Check him for mercury poisoning." Checked him for mercury poisoning, chelated him. He was chelated the mercury, I think, through his feet, and he was fine. So there's instinctively, we get these things that come to us, and he had that, didn't have to muscle test it, but you can use muscle testing too on your body to, I had chronic sore throats back in the late 90s, and I saw someone that did muscle testing for your body. He did all kinds of pushing down on my legs and my arms and stuff. And he says, it's not your tonsils, it's your thyroid. So he gave me thyroid extract from a cow, gave me some whole pineapple juice and some tea to drink. 2 weeks. I can count on two hands, less than two hands, of the number of sore throats I've had in the last 25 years. So it's a pretty cool thing. Stay out of the survival paradigm.
Yes.
Get into reasoning and integrity. Get into the spiritual aspect. So
I'll tell you my experience a little bit with this, Frank, and it's a little bit different. I don't know if you ever heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yeah.
One of his best books is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and it talks about, as we're brought up as human beings, a lot of times it's programmed in our head. A lot of these things: hate, anger, desire, cravings, anxiety, fear, grief, regret. A lot of that stuff is coming pre-programmed because our parents or teachers or, other authorities that were in our lives when we were kids programmed that into us. And so as adults, it's hard because your brain runs on autopilot, and it's very difficult. And you have to rewire the brain. And a lot for me, in my experience, to get up in this area of part of my life, which I feel like I have done a good job of doing now that I'm older. But earlier on, I was a lot more in this area. It was the Dr. Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and learning how to rewire the brain, what we tell ourselves, and through meditations that I was able to kind of lift myself out of this particular survival paradigm and get into the reason, integrity, and hopefully sometimes in the spiritual paradigm. I mean, I like to think that I'm up there sometimes, but it's not always, of course, right? We're all human. And that was what was a game changer for me and really doing this stuff. So it's very important that we live our lives and try to achieve to this level of, for me, this is the spirituality part, right? The spiritual and mental framework that we're always trying to achieve and work on. And, you're right, man. I would say the majority of crypto space, they live down here, and then we see it. We see it.
Yeah, it's tricky. That's why, in my opinion, I'm so glad to be a part of the Hex PulseX ecosystem.
Yes,
ecosystem, because people are here to make a difference for people. They're here to do good for others. Hey, you need something? Yeah, reach out. It's a very helpful community. I mean, we have our faults, but we're a highly integrous community, in my opinion. And I think that whether the price chart's up or down, I think everybody's being authentic. Doing their best to be honest.
The majority are.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
The average person in a lifetime only goes up 5 points in the scale of consciousness. So
I want to be better than the average.
Yeah. Well, you can learn how.
You are already. You are
can,
already.
Yeah. Yeah. You can learn.
Trying.
Move hundreds. You can move a lot just by listening to some of Hawkins' lectures. There's people, you can go up a couple hundred points in a weekend. I've heard just by going and listening to his workshop. But they're all online now. He's dead, so he recorded hundreds of recordings that you can get. I think it's verituspub.com. I've listened to a lot of them. uh, probably over 100 of his recordings, and they're fascinating. But
And
yeah,
I'm telling you, Frank, that is why you're successful as an entrepreneur. That is also why you'll be successful in this crypto space.
thank you.
And that's why you're able to buy the bottom when there's max FUD, because you're working on a different level than the most. That's my opinion, right? I feel like you're right. There's a lot of investors in our space, especially the Hex and Pulse Chain ecosystem, that do operate in that level. And that's why they're still here. And that's why they still buy. And that's why they still believe. That's what they know. They know, man. I say it all the time that the movie script's written. We're just in this movie. The script's been written. You have to put the puzzle pieces together and have faith. And you have to have the right mental framework to be able to weather the storm. That's it. That's simply it. And so, man, that's beautiful, dude. I'm glad you shared that with us. We thank you.
And you're welcome. And one other thing, you've shared this a lot, saying the script is already written. Hawkins says that about life in general. He said, we know when we come in and we know when we go out. The movie's already written.
It's already written. God knows. I don't want to get too religious in the show. I'm a God guy, right? But yeah, he knows. It's already there. It's in place. Like, there's another book that brings me to another book that I really love. It's by Michael Singer. It's called The Untethered Soul. In that book, where I was, as an entrepreneur, I was clawing my way to success. I was, I had a lot of anxiety, a lot of anger. I had a lot of building a 7-figure business. And it was a lot of grunt and grind. And I was in multiple lawsuits. And by reading that book and kind of going on a spiritual journey myself, I was able to take a step back and start letting the universe or God guide you to success. But it's hard because you have to kind of tap in and look for those puzzle pieces because the script's already been written, and you got to have that faith. And that's what it's more about when you want to let the universe or God guide you to success. So that's a great book if you're, wanting to be an entrepreneur and kind of get in the world of how to create value without creating this massive, stress. I used to call my old business the 7-figure prison, because that's how I felt. I live in this prison where I was in 15 hours a day, crying, working my way up the freaking ladder, grinding. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't. Life doesn't have to be that way. And so it's been an interesting journey for me, dude. That's what led me to the Pulse Chain community. Is when I took that pivot out of real estate. I'm not done with real estate. We talk about the show all the time. But when I took that pivot out and I'm moved to Puerto Rico and I'm in this journey with you guys, that I was led here by my instinct or the puzzle pieces or God or universe, whatever you want to believe in. For me, it's God, and I was led here for this. And so whatever you want to believe in, and you could say, "Oh, Corey's full of crap. He's just smoking some stuff. I don't know what he's doing over there." But it's just me, right? And that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm here with you guys, pushing through and doing this. And I'm having a blast. It doesn't feel like I'm pushing through because I love this community. I feel like I was meant to be here. And when you're meant to be somewhere, you don't feel like you're working a day in your life. It's great. It's great. And so read that book, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Another good one that he wrote is called the Surrender Experiment. Listen how that sounds. The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. And that's to put that framework into practice. That's what that book is about. It's how he put that framework into practice. And man, I love that book so much. I flew out to his temple in Florida and went and meditated with the guy. That's how much I love it. He's got a temple out in Gainesville, Florida that you can go to and visit and kind of really tap in to that higher power or source, if you will, if that's something that you're trying to explore, which I'm always in. So there's my man. This show got good today. We got a lot of spiritual stuff in. It went deep, man, beyond the RH ecosystem and core assets. But this stuff integrates in for me in my world, right? This is part of my purpose and why I love crypto and why I love this community. And it's also why I think the ethos of crypto is like spiritually, it's amazing. Like permissionless money to give you self-sovereignty, to make you your own bank, to decouple you from Big Brother and the government and the fiat Ponzi system. Like the ethos of crypto has a spiritual sense about it, right? Doesn't it, to give humanity their freedom back that's been taken away from us? Like, that's the ethos of crypto. And I love that beyond the money piece. Of course, I like the money piece too, right? Who doesn't? I'm a human being who always strives for more, and finances is part of that, right? It's part of that equation. And so, but crypto, it does kind of call to the other part. And it's really cool.
In crypto that's beyond us. We're just in it.
It is.
It's still evolving. It is
magical.
It's magical. I guess one of the best analogies that we could in modern day is the internet. Like, people doing stuff on the internet, they knew early, like, wow, this is really cool. Look at this. And then it just became all this really cool stuff. I think that's where we are in crypto, just becoming something so mainstream that we'll look back and say, oh, wow, that's what we went through, So
that's it, man. And you'll look back and you'll go, man, the script was written. Crap. How does that? Yeah, watch. It's just it's a great journey, man. I'm just blessed to be on it with you guys. I'm blessed to be on it with everyone in the audience. I'm blessed to be on it with everybody that I've met. Like I tell people all the time, real estate got me a bunch of friends all over the United States. Crypto got me a bunch of friends all over the world. I mean, Norbert's not in the United States, bro. Yeah. He's across the other side of the world, and he's on here talking with us about the same things that we like. It's so effing cool. Like, I didn't get that in real estate.
Vibration. That's what brought us together. Vibration. Every person has a certain level of vibration. Everything is vibrating. Even the physical things has a certain wavelength, and depending on how fast or how slow they resonate, that classifies the sturdiness, hardness, or whatever. Same with humankind. And it's beautiful that you brought that Joe Dispenza experience up, because I've done it myself. And I'm coming from a very poor, Rewire Brain. I'm coming from a very poor family. We hardly had anything. My parents never bought me any clothes. I always got clothes from my cousin or for whatever, from a neighbor, or 5 times, people were teasing me. Look at you, how you look like a bag of shit, man. Like colors not matching, like 2 sizes, whatever. It doesn't matter. And when I was an employee back in the day, I was lucky enough to have a bit of free time and do some experiences. And I've done this Joe Dispenza. So I highly recommend anyone who's watching the show that do that box experience with Joe Dispenza. Write down on that box what would hold you back, what is your limitation, what you're afraid of. Write down on that box. And then what happened to me on that day, if you have a couple of minutes, I'll wrap it up quickly. I imagined that box, and then I looked around and I see more and more boxes with different writings on it. But as further they were out, I couldn't see them anymore, what was written on it. I only could see like things like fear, finance, family, health. There was a few things which was I was kind of anxious and worried and like not really sure about. And I imagined that after that I was in one of these boxes, and I kind of explode out of that box, and I became like a giant, and all these boxes became extremely small. And from that onwards, 3 months later, I started making 3 times more money than before.
Yep.
I started investing in crypto, meeting these people, coming on to shows, and it just was going deeper and deeper and deeper. So I highly recommend anyone. And last time when I left the show, I couldn't say this. If we want to be appealing to other people as a community, I highly suggest for everyone, instead of arguing about who is right and who said what and whatever, maybe just grab another content creator video, put a few tags on it, and then write a decent message and share it, or like it, or go on someone's video and then comment about it. Whatever you can do, but be like a contributing, compassionate, decent person. Because otherwise, how do you expect your numbers to go up and attract new investors if they see that you're arguing about meaningless shit, on the internet with another person who's got an avatar and some whatever imaginary name, like who cares, you think whatever you want, and that's it. So to contribute, build, support. These are the kind of things we should focus on, in my opinion.
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, that's my 4 pillars once again: spiritual, mental, physical, and then financials last. And all these guys, David Hawkins, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Michael Singer, they offer tools that we can use, help facilitate for myself, right, personally, to get better at all 4 of those pillars, which are super important to me, not just me, my family, and when I pass away and I go see God, at the end of the movie, what did I do? So that's
Ken
it.
Wilber. Ken Wilber is really good too. Spiritual dynamics on how we're all trying to spiral upward.
Yep.
Yep.
I love it. So cool. Well, guys, I got to hop off. I got to do lunch. I'm already 6 minutes late for my lunch date, kind of. And so, guys, have a great weekend. Don't go out there staying on Twitter all day long, falling into the argument trap on Twitter. Like, get outside, do something. We're going to go to the beach. Obviously, it's nice when you live by a beach. You can go to the beach all the time. We love it. And go out and live life. Spend time with loved ones, with family. Create a business. Create value to the world. That's what we're here for. We're here to provide value to humanity, to help our fellow brethren, women, and kids. That's what we're here for. And, lift humanity up. That's our purpose. So, guys.
Unity. Remember the story of the Babel Tower. Just watch that little story, the Tower of Babel. It's amazing. If humankind comes together, nothing can stop us.
And you have
Same
to,
as with the Hex community, Pulse Chain community. If you come together, then nothing.
Figure out how to reprogram yourself. You also have to, figure out what your true why is. And I got news for you, because I know you guys hear about this. Oh, what's your why? Your why is not your kids. Your why is not your wife. Your why is not your parents. Your why is not because you want to buy a Lamborghini. It shouldn't be any of that stuff. That's not who defines you as a person. Your true why should come because you love yourself and you deserve it. That's it. So, all right, guys, I'm going to peace out after that. I got to go eat. You guys are amazing. Love you all.
Thanks, guys. Love you too. Norbert.
All the best. Nice to see you, Frank.
Have a good weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Oh, Monday, real quick, housekeeping. I think we're going to have 2 fucks. We're going to have the Camel Clan guy on. He's got this new thing. It's supposed to be like the Tang Gang for Chads. I don't know what he's talking about, but we're going to explore more into that. And obviously, we're going to go ahead and give 2 fucks a run for its money. I like 2 fucks. I'm also playing with it right now. And so let's see what it does. And we'll have him on. Fast Abdul, I see him in the chats. But that's Monday. And we're around all week next week. I don't think we're out of town for another couple weeks for the next real estate events. I think we're in town for until my brother. That's right. My brother and my sister are coming to visit me in Puerto Rico in 2 weeks. That's going to be exciting. We're going off to the Spanish Virgin Islands. And I won't be streaming during that time. So that would be another time. Man, he's coming on now, bro. I got to go, bro. I got to get out of here. And you're coming on shilling Camel Clan at the end of our spiritual talk. Like,
you guys get real spiritual. I had to bring another side to the spirituality,
Oh man, you're bringing. I saw you post this on Twitter, and I got a good laugh out of it. We're gonna have you on and to give you your own show on Monday. Excellent. And we could talk about what the F are you doing, why you're doing it. And I like it because it's going to bring more adoption to Pulsing. That's all I see, man.
I think it's awesome.
I'll tell you all about the Camel Clan. It's going to be a Camel Clan show. We'll talk about 2 fucks too because that's serious and important. But
I like 2 fucks, man. I'm not sure about the verdict's out right now for Camel Clan.
Fast Abdul.
The juror's out. The juror's out on Camel Clan.
There's an authenticity and vulnerability about what you're doing. I really appreciate it. So
right now, yeah. Yes, I agree. I agree. So you fit our show just right, and it fits in the crypto. It's that weird freaking cartoonish that crypto has and brings to the marketplace. Like sometimes watching crypto is like watching a freaking funny cartoon. You're just like, what the hell is going on? It's just so much because the asset class is so immature. So,
I'm
But
ready
I
to
gotta
play
go.
some Camel Clan, guys. Let's go.
Camel Clan on Monday. We're gonna have them on. We're gonna talk about Camel Clan. We're gonna talk about Two Fucks. I'm enjoying Two Fucks. It's a lot of fun. And we'll see you guys next week. Guys, get out there and enjoy your loved ones. We will see you then.
Bye, guys. Peace.
Bye.